All right, we're rolling.
Okay.
We are live. So I vote you go first.
You son of a gun. Okay, fine. Fuck off.
Oh, you're cool with it? All right. I mean, I thought you were gonna say like, no, you do it, and then if you said that, I was gonna say I'll do it. But if you're okay with it,
No, it's so. Well, welcome to our podcast. To be first of many, this is our first time. My name is Angelo Messina. My buddy over here is Evan Greif, and so, but yeah, no. 26. Um, I work at healthcare system in Long Island, New York. I'm a research assistant. I work on cancer patients, so pretty depressing life. But yeah, no, it's what I do is I look at the white blood cell counts, see if they have the normal activities, if they have healthy white blood cells, a healthy count, if they have anything, if or they don't have enough, and alert the doctors and pharmaceutical companies. Um, what else besides that? Kind of like get into play soccer. My interests are soccer, foot golf, which is soccer and golf combined. Going to concerts, playing video games, and hanging out and having occasional beers with friends. Um, Evan, what about you?
yeah, man. I'll get started. Thank you very much for that introduction. So my name is Evan Greif. I'm 25. Angelo's an old man.
Uh,
Uh, and yeah, my interests are video games, music. I play guitar. Uh, I like to play, shooters with Angelo. Angelo and I have been friends for a long time, um,
Lol.
and yeah, a very long time. Um, and I moved to Japan after graduating university, and we just decided, we would try to start this podcast. And right now it's untitled, and we don't really know what we're doing, but uh, we're thinking, it could turn into a side project, and if it blows up, then something that we could do mainly. Um, and so Angela and I have known each other for a long time. Felt like we needed to catch up pretty frequently, right?
Just
Uh,
about.
yeah. I mean, well, you're always saying like, "Hey, we should catch up," and I always feel that way too. So this is kind of like another way for us to catch up and also talk about subjects that interest us. And
Yeah.
like I can bring what I know to the table, and you can bring what you know to the table.
Hmm.
So I mean, that was my introduction and a little bit of exposition on what this podcast is, what we're trying to make this podcast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just like basically this whole podcast, it's for what we know and kind of engage other people to get onto this podcast, talk about what they know, and enlighten other people. It could be anywhere from sports, because I'm a big soccer guy, and I'm trying to dabble in other sports as well. It could be music, because Evan plays guitar, even though he's not like Adam Elite, like Maroon Five or whatever, but
No, not
it's
that
the
level.
dedication that people play on the guitar that people want to get started going. It's little tips here and there, or science because I'm in the science background. I always like science, like green or like the new stuff that's going to cutting edge. And then just going from video games because we're both closet nerds in that sense, and just
Oh
watch.
yeah,
And we play games, freaking like I think we're probably gonna play Destiny later on. So
yeah, exactly. I like the point you brought up just now about how like we're just going to talk about what interests us and hopefully bring people together to talk about those subjects. I've always felt like um, growing up in Limbrook, I always felt that the community was kind of small, or at least for the things that I enjoyed. I didn't have many people around to talk about things that interested me. Um, and I feel like nowadays all of that stuff is online, and if you're not doing it online, then it's really just hard to find those kinds of people because everybody else is doing that. They're finding their communities on Twitter or on Facebook or on this
Forums.
forums too. Yeah, YouTube. I mean, YouTube is just like mostly hateful comments, but whatever, you know. Um,
You're gonna get that everywhere you go, no
yeah,
matter what.
exactly. Yeah, no matter
We're
where you are.
probably gonna get a hateful comment after this if
Oh, we will.
anyone
Yeah,
says
yeah. They're gonna be
easy.
like, "You're so bad. How did you not like decide to go from this to this subject?" You know, it's like, whatever, man. We're just here doing it. We're not charging people money, so at least we can say like, "Fuck off." If you don't want to listen to what we have to say.
Don't listen.
Exactly.
You won't hurt our feelings, maybe a little bit, but whatever.
Yeah, not so much. Not so
No.
much.
No. I just feel like, but also like you're in the finance, you're in like
Yeah, I'm super
fintechs
interested in
as well.
finance, and right now I'm working in digital advertising, so that's something I could talk about as well.
hmm Um, like I'm really into like fitness, even not like how I am, and well, no one knows how I am, but
They'll
but
they'll
like
know as the episodes come out.
yeah, as the episode come out, how much of a big slob I am. But no, it's like into supplement fitness, working out, different ways of working out, form wise, and different kind of like how to learn and adapt to your, let's just say, not like obstacles. Like I tore my ACL, and like yeah, that's like a big
Hmm.
thing in athletes. Like tearing your ACL, like how do you recover? And
Really,
black
not
and
even just
white,
physically.
mentally,
Yeah.
yeah, like I don't know, like with ACL is just like it's either that you go like I know people who tore their ACL and just never went back to anything. They just became like very like couch potato like
Sedentary. Yeah.
and so like I hate that. I was like moving. I try to get back to playing soccer, but like a part of me is like trying to grow away from soccer. Well, at least playing soccer because like I'm 26, so my mind is there, but my body's not. And especially I have a bum knee, so I start playing goalie, working at, it, and then I'm still tweaking my knee. So I kind of like found this new interest, like foot golf, which is soccer and golf. And I totally understand why people love to golf with friends and whatever. It's a whole like relaxing, like the body. You chill with your guy, you chill with your boys or with people. You're out, beautiful weather, and like for golf, you have a club and you hit you like they see hit the ball. Soccer,
Yeah.
you have a
Yeah.
soccer ball, you get your cleats and you go on and play. And
Uh-huh.
in Japan, there's actually a bunch. You look into it.
Really, I didn't know there were
Yeah,
any golf groups out here, and I had
there's a
never thought about that sort of appeal of golf, where like it's relaxing and you can just chat with the people while you're playing.
mhm.
Um,
Think about it. When you play in video games, you have three, four people playing one game. You shoot the shits.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you do in Destiny. Now imagine that and three, four people in the same hole trying to basically get the ball in the hole and telling the ball to go home when it doesn't.
yeah. Hmm.
And you're like, ha, you suck. And you just shoot the shit. It's like, wow, my sister can do better than you,
Yeah,
or
you
whatever
busted
the
each
case.
other's
You
balls.
busted each other's balls. Have a nice freaking stogie, cigar, who likes smoking as well. Um, or just legitimate, just talking and just see who has a better day. And it's always nice to have a little friendly competition with that. But yeah, no, like fuck off. I think it had about, let's just say 2005, so 14 years,
Okay.
and now it grew into legitimate. Maybe about, I'm gonna just lowball it. Maybe 50 countries in the world now has it. They have the World Cup that just passed recently in Morocco.
Okay.
And I just saw in news recently that Paris 2024 Olympics is trying to get that into a sport. So it's taking strides. Um,
Yeah,
so
I liked what you said earlier about just having a friendly competition, um, because I mean you've known me for so many years, and I've always been averse to competition, right? And that's like full disclosure. I'm gonna be like an open book on this podcast. I have always been averse to competition. I've never felt the I guess the strong drive to compete, and also I've always felt like I didn't have competence or I wasn't good enough at something to actually be winning, right? So I feel like if you don't have faith in yourself to at least win some of the time, then you're just not going to want to compete because you don't want to prove to yourself that you're a failure, right? If you don't try, then you can just always stay in that area of like, oh well, like if maybe if I applied myself, I would win, but you don't know. So I think um, recently, I think part of me has grown out of that, and I've been uh, working to be more competitive in all arenas of my life, in terms of work, and in terms of uh, sporting events. I'm actually going. I'm going to play badminton with some coworkers tomorrow morning, and they all play regularly. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do, but I'm still going to try my best, right? Um, and I guess I don't know. Like, I get very. I do have competitive spirit because I get competitive when it comes to fighting games.
No, yeah.
Like, and that's because I know that I'm like good, and even if I'm fighting against somebody who beats me, I have a lot of respect for that person. I'm just like, fuck, like I'm mad that I lost, but like, okay, how do I beat you? You know, like I'm thinking more about how to improve my game for the next time. And it's when you have friendly competition. The point I'm trying to get to here, is that like the competition isn't about beating somebody else into submission. It's about beating yourself, right? So like you're by competing with each other, you're pushing yourself to reach a higher level of yourself. And even at the end of the day, if you lose more than the other person, you're still winning more than if you didn't have that person to compete with, right? You
No,
know what I'm saying?
I totally understand what you're saying. I like when you hit a bunch of other points though, like kind of like having that friendly competition. You like it's all about confidence, right? If you don't have the confidence, you're either one, you give up. Two, you're like, whatever. And I kind of like give up, but like you just go through the motions. Or three, like, hey, I'm actually pretty good at this. Let me push myself and do. Oh, you beat me? Okay, yeah, kudos. Now let's fucking do it again. Let's do 2 out of 3. Let's see
Right.
who's really better. And that guy might be a fluke in the sense like they just beat you, and you like people like what I feel like actually playing like sports games. Majority of the time, people lose because they beat themselves. I feel like yeah, they might have an upper hand or like legitimate. Let's just say these guys are crazy, crazy good, and that's the only do. Like I would never play someone in the esports gaming world like League of
Right.
Legends. I would never go one of the like either close
Hmm.
versus those players because I know I will get owned completely because I don't
Bro,
have that
you don't have the
confidence.
experience.
Well, I don't have the experience. I nor don't have the confidence to play either in League of Legends. Like I dabbled in college, but dabbled like here and there, whatever.
Right.
But like these guys play professionally. They play hours a day, and they know all the turns, all the quirks, all everything that you're talking about. It's but later on they just build on that confidence. They just feel like they kept on winning, and that confidence is just they didn't turn into being a cocky guy and be like, "Hey, I know you, like whatever. I'm a lot better than you." It's like, no, I'm gonna be the best. How can I be the best? What do I need to do in order to be the best?
Well, that's like the best kind of champion, right? Because like you can be very good at what you do, even on like a team sport, and be cocky, right? But I feel like the
Mhm.
people love a champion who's humble, who
Yes.
says, "Yeah, I performed well, but not only was it me, but it was my teammates, and on top of that, I know I can be better. So what's the next step? What's the next level?" And that's hard, because some people, or not some people, I feel like a lot of the times it's easy to fall into that, like getting uh pretentious, or like really what's the word for it?
Full
Like
himself.
proud. Yeah, yeah, full of yourself. Um so I think it's best to keep that in mind as well. I think I had another point I wanted to make, but I think I lost it. But that's okay. We can keep talking about the same subject or move on to something else, whatever.
Well, like, like basically at this point, it's like basically with confidence, it's believe in yourself.
Yeah.
If not, who will? You might have
Yeah,
one. It could be your parents. It could be whatever. But like, if you don't believe yourself, you're not gonna move on to the next step in life, and that could be anything.
Well,
If
that's
you
the
want to
thing. It's like
start, if you want to,
if you have confidence in yourself, that gives everybody else around you no choice but to believe in you too.
yeah, and if
'Cause-
you give confidence, if you believe in yourself, you also you're giving yourself respect,
Mhm.
and you're not going to get respect if you don't respect yourself. Because then people's like you're a low life or whatever. They start saying names. It's like, no, I'm not. Like, I know who I am. I know how I act, and you can be respectful to other people, but like you could be the nicest person in the world, but if you're not like you don't have respect for yourself, no one's gonna
Yeah.
give it. No one's gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
Um.
Well, because you're gonna put yourself in situations where you confirm that reality, like that perception of reality that
Mhm.
you have of yourself, right? So like if you don't respect yourself, you're going to end up being surrounded by people who don't respect you because you feel that you don't deserve respect, right? And that's a sad thing, you know. It's like people grow up and whatever family they're in, like a broken home or like parents that don't support their children's aspirations or whatever. Like you could get fucked. Like whatever, and
Well,
everyone's cards are different, both biological and environmental, right? Everyone's cards are different, so I think it's important to try to help people, at least me personally, because I know I've gone through it and I'm still going through it. Like I don't have 100% confidence in what I'm doing, but this is me reaching out to doing something, right, to increase my confidence.
it's
Um,
trying new things out.
exactly, exactly. So I think it's important to really communicate to people about that, saying, "Hey, I know you feel like you don't deserve love, you don't deserve acceptance, praise, whatever, but you do. Like all humans, I've come to I've come to believe, like 100%, all it's all faith. There's no like scientific basis for it, whatever. But I believe that all human beings are sacred, and I think that everyone has the potential to be anything if they decide that they're no longer going to tolerate being disrespected or going to tolerate hating on themselves, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that's something that's really important, and I'm working on that all the time. I mean, like I can talk whatever, but unless my actions back it up, it doesn't mean anything. But again, this is me taking a step, and I think for you as well. I mean, you're trying new stuff all the time, especially since soccer was uh, a chapter in your life,
Huh.
and you tore your ACL, but you still have a love for soccer, and you have a love
Yeah.
for moving around, and you have a love for sports and competition. So you found a way to take your love of soccer and
Mhm. And try to fill
channel
that
it into.
void.
Yeah, maybe. Well, because I've always felt that it's such a part of your identity. I mean, you've always
Yeah.
talked to me about soccer.
Exactly. It's but like I feel like I'm sorry to cut you off with that. It's
No,
just
no, no.
like, but like I agree with you. Like soccer has been part of me. Like I still watch, read news, like anything. Anything about soccer. Like think about like trying to coach kids or train kids at soccer as well. Just want to be soccer a part of my life. But like now I'm getting like when you get older, like people like it's like that whole confidence. Like I don't feel confident that I could play like I used to. And no, I was not like a great player. I was pretty good at the sport until after college. After
Right,
college, I never went pro. Or I got like semi-pro amateur deals, but not like crazy deals.
right,
But those stuff as you come to reality is just like, okay, I'm playing this for fun. What happens if I get hurt? And then you start like you actually start putting priorities. You start checking off. It's like, okay, if I play this, I will have fun. I love the sport. This is fun. I meet new people. Okay, yeah, cool. And then what happens if I get hurt? Some people say don't be so pessimistic. It's like no, it's not. It's just when you had injured yourself like that, like my tore my when I tear my ACL, like that was not like the only injury. I have two titanium plates in my right orbital area.
right.
That's another injury right there. It was a head-to-head collision that happened like 10 years ago. Actually, wow, actually 10 years ago next month.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, you were pretty young when that happened. But see, the thing is, like, while okay, you have titanium plates in your face because of a terrible injury, and you tore your ACL, and that's another terrible injury. I still think, like, you doing sports and challenging yourself physically, in a
Mm-hmm.
competitive in a team sport arena is good for you, even despite the injuries. I mean, like, of course, you would want to avoid those injuries, and you want to do what you can to not be injured like that. But uh, for me, as you know, I never joined any team sports, and I always felt like I didn't join team sports because I didn't work well with other people. I mean, even when I was younger, my cousins would tell me that, like, Evan, you always wanted to just play by yourself. Like, you didn't want to be involved with us playing, and I was like, okay, well, maybe that's just my personality, right? But I've always been interested in martial arts. I've always been interested in trail running. I've always anything that was like me depending on my skills alone, I was okay with that, right? It wasn't because I've always had a feeling like I didn't want to bring the team down. You know, I didn't want to disappoint the team. So like if I did something poorly, then I would be the one to bear responsibility, and I would be the one negatively affected by my performance. Whereas if I'm performing on my own, I'm the only person who is affected by that, right? Um, Maybe that's just like a personality thing. Maybe that's just how I am. But I do think there's really important things that you can develop by being on a team sport or in a
Yeah.
sport environment.
Well, team, like I always played on the team. I felt like being on a team is the best thing in the whole entire world because you meet these, I just like to say, band of brothers. Kind of, it was like a pick me up kind of situation. You get down in the dumps, you miss a shot, or whatever, you made a mistake. Yeah, they'll get mad at you at the moment, but in the reality, it's like, yo, you messed up. We understand. It happens. Or like, yo, it's not your fault. And they actually they pick you up and be like, yo, next time we'll train on that, or we'll do something. Hey, I messed up at this point. Remember that? Yeah,
Yeah, but
like
like if I think, yeah, definitely if you're on a team with good team players, right? And
mm,
you say, "Hey, I messed up that shot. Do you have any advice?" Right? Like if you honestly seek out somebody's opinion on something, I mean, they love to talk. They love to help people, right? I feel like people are genuinely good in that sense, where like if someone is seeking their assistance, they're going to help,
yeah,
especially if the interaction is genuine. So, I definitely I think if I were to have joined a team sport, it might have been tennis, like two on twos.
with doubles.
Yeah, yeah,
No, that's also another thing too because you have someone in the front and the back. Like I'm not a big like person in tennis, but like I know the general basis. Like you basically you control a good section of the court and you'd be like, hey, left, right, whatever is coming here. Okay, you take it, I take it. Oh, it's a little bit too high. I won't swing at it, and you get another person will see it, and you kind of have like that team coordination. It's like, okay, like this is what we're gonna do. This is how we're gonna do it. Oh, their weakness is on their backswing, or in soccer. Oh, like there's like I'm defending one guy, you're behind me, and you say, hey, the guy doesn't have a left, force him to his left. You hear that, you pick that up, you will take that advice and you use it. If not, you just shot yourself in the foot with that, and also your team because now you're bringing your team down too.
right.
Um, but
I, I've
also,
always had I've always had difficulty with that too. Is communicating like what my intent is,
mm-hmm,
saying like, "Hey, I'm gonna go for it," or "Hey, you get it." Even in tennis because I played it like last month. But I hadn't realized in soccer that like when you're on the field, you're yelling at your teammate, saying like, "Hey, try this way."
yeah, like in goalie, like I'll talk to the defender. There's a forward that will come by, be like, hey, whatever, like Edmund or Ryan or whatever, and be like
That
the
seems
guy on
so.
your left.
Huh? That
There's like
seems so
this.
interesting. Like if it's two teams from different countries, right, and they speak different languages, if they're on the field and they're talking to their teammate, like the opposite player can't understand, right? So
Exactly.
that's pretty cool.
Unless you have like I versus teams that were like legitimate natives, their native language Spanish, and
Right.
not everyone knows Spanish. But like if you knew another language, like I know Italian really well, you could pick up certain like things like palota, it's pallone. That's basically the same thing. Ball, it's or like, and there's other stuff like, and you like learn and pick up content. And I feel like with language, you pick up the content, you'll understand what's going on. Um, but like that, like communication, like talking and just basically just talking to someone in a team sport, it's so vital because you see it. I feel like coach, like when a coach yells at you or whatever, they see it in a different way than you see it. You only see it what's in front of you. They see the whole picture because they're
Right.
outside. They're not on the field. Like you might have tunnel
Yeah,
vision.
yeah,
You
yeah.
might not see what's going on
You're
to
in the trenches.
behind. Yeah.
Right.
Um.
And your heart's racing, right? So like sometimes you're not able to think clearly, but the coach is
Exactly.
all the plays. Okay, okay. Yeah, see the thing is like I've always had problems receiving criticism. You know that. Like I'm very stubborn and I feel like if I had a coach who was like, "Hey, this was you did this wrong. How about trying it this way?" I now if I were to hear that, I'd get upset in the moment and be like, "Okay, let's take his advice. If it makes sense and it works, then he was right." But like if like when I was growing up in middle school and high school, I didn't like to take shit from anybody.
Well, yeah,
And
but like that's also depends on how they word it. It's all about tone too. Like I had coaches legitimate would scream and like at top of their lungs, like come on, that was so fucking easy. Like why did you do that? And they're just like, what? Like no, fuck off. Or, that's what
it's like,
happened. It was in that
where's
situation.
what's your advice?
Yeah, I was like, what do I do now? Um, and then, or I've been to coaches like, hey, you messed up there. You know what you did wrong? I went to the left besides going to the right. It's like, yeah, but also you didn't turn your shoulder around. And I was like, something so little can change it.
See, but
Uh,
that's also important too. Where the way you said it, right? It's like, here's what you did wrong. Do you know why it was wrong? Right?
yeah,
They make you think. And
yeah,
even like I'm not even talking about sports. Even at work, people will give me criticism on my performance, and they'll say, "Hey, like I have to do role playing with one of my coworkers because I have to go to meetings and explain to our partners like the way our company works and how our product works. And so we'll do role plays where I'm explaining the product to him, right, and he's pretending to be the partner, blah blah blah. And he'll say, "Hey, like, here's what you did wrong. How do you think you could remedy that?"
yeah,
So like it makes you be more proactive in finding the solution rather than saying, here's what you did wrong, here's the correct way to do it, right?
yeah.
And then like because then
I
you end
know
up
best.
following orders, you
Yeah.
know
Well, yeah, that's like I feel like when you learn new stuff is asking questions. Okay, what did I do wrong? Like, and it could be anything in life. It could be going into an interview. It could be legitimate cooking, meal prepping. Like you burnt your rice, which can happen, but people
Luckily
have done.
I don't do that because I have a machine that does it for me, but
But
I
I'm
know what
saying
you mean.
like,
Like I always, yeah, I falter
or
though
burnt
some
your eggs.
when it comes to cooking or anything. Like I'm always very risk averse, and I don't like that about my personality. But because I know that, a lot of times I'll jump into something and I'll be like, "Fuck it, if I mess up, okay, that's all right."
Like,
And
I mean, what?
with cooking, like cooking too, I cooked something recently, and I don't know what you said, but fuck you. I
No,
cooked something.
I said like this. I mean, what?
Oh, like jumping into this?
Yeah,
Oh, you mean like I was being super prepared or whatever? I mean, you know how that's how I am. So,
that's fine. I know. I like busting your chops.
uh, but then I cooked dinner for myself last night, and like it wasn't that hard. I mean, granted I did buy like a pre-made sauce from the supermarket for like but
Well,
I cooked the meat, I cooked the peppers, I cooked the carrots, So
Well, the sauce, like if you like the sauce, you can learn how to make that sauce, and you learn. Like
yeah,
I actually like they get into cooking. Like I actually like cooking. It's like meal prepping or whatever. But also I like cooking, trying to cook like different kind of cuisines. Like actually like there's like a Nigerian dish that I actually really want to try, like joffrey rice, and then like there's like this beef stew that like the stew is basically like with tomato and they just puree it and they had like sauteed beef and different kind of beef. But like that's like the general main two ingredients. But like also is just like I've been so cultural influenced with Italian culture. I love like going to like Japanese culture, like the ramen, sushi, even like just like curry chicken or chicken curry. However, people want to pronounce that. I know West Indies pronounce it two different ways. I never understand it.
chicken curry.
So yeah, so in West like people I don't know exactly it's back vice versa, but like there's a war that has a little meme war when they had the cricket going on. It's either chicken curry or curry chicken.
Huh.
and legitimate. Yeah, if you ask Ryan, he could tell you what his way is better, what's the way, like how to say it's better, and then you go to like a Trinidadian, they'll say no, it's the opposite.
Or because they're West Indies. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny though, because like if I feel like with Ryan, if whatever he says, I'm just gonna say the opposite to piss him off, because like I just like busting his balls, right?
Exactly.
So,
But it's just that's like it's just the fun. Like I always want to know like how to cook different kind of food. Going back sidetrack,
yeah,
but
yeah.
like different kind of food. Like I always want to know like Italian. I know how to cook Italian food.
Yeah, man, all those carbs. I remember going to your house and having dinner there, and it's like I hadn't known that if you finish your plate in an Italian household, that means you're still hungry, and like you just keep getting food. So
And yeah, like
I
you
had like
always eat
30
like a
plates.
bowl of pasta first too.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, that's what you start with. I was gonna bring up another point about food actually, and I need to spend some time doing research on this. And it shouldn't take too long. Like I shouldn't spend too much time doing the research, but I want to figure out. Like when I go to the supermarket, most of the cheap stuff or the accessible stuff to me in terms of price is gonna be Japanese in origin, right? So like Japanese veggies, Japanese fruits, uh, stuff that is natively grown here, right? So I need to figure
Domestic.
out recipes. Yeah, exactly. I need to figure out recipes that are domestic, uh, domestically appropriate. But I also want to be able to do like meal prep and stuff. Beef is pretty expensive here, so like in terms of price, it's beef, chicken, pork. Right, pork is like super cheap here. Um, but like if I can, I would like to have a lot of chicken in my diet. That would be
Yeah, but like that's like when we get into like the whole chicken, beef, pork, fish as well.
fish. It was surprisingly fish is actually pretty expensive here too. Like the salmon. Like
Well,
yeah.
salmon
Well,
depends.
I would
Wild
think that
caught
it's
salmon.
I would think that it's cheaper than it would be in America.
Since you're surrounded by
Yeah,
one.
and well, they just have a lot. Like, well, maybe it's because the demand is higher as well. It's like the
Salmon,
supply is
yeah.
higher, but the demand is higher as well. So that might be why,
Well,
right?
also with salmon, like they or like trout, they're doing that whole farming situation now. So like there's farm raised or wild caught, like wild catches.
Right.
Um, that also changed like people's diet too because what you feed, it's what you're feeding the salmon, that's what you're gonna get as well.
Yeah.
So like different brands, like you have actually like for example like your fish oil over there, they'll tell you your like you have two things that you're going to be looking for is like EPA and DHA. I don't know if there's in characters or not. So yeah, those two right there. You look at the difference. Like you want the best case scenario of those two. You want a difference of 300 milligrams between the
Wait,
two factors.
a difference?
Yeah. So like the one that I take and I have like first form, full omega, and they have wild caught salmon.
Okay.
Um, and what it is the EPA is 900 milligrams and the DHA is 600 milligrams.
Jesus Christ. Wait, per
And
tablet?
per yeah, it's every two tablets I take.
Oh.
And it doesn't always mean like higher the better. This is like what you could get a good amount of like omega 3 in your system from because this the product that we that get it they get it from wild caught salmon. While
Okay.
probably yours is a little bit. Can you?
Yeah, there's
Well,
like 100. Yeah, there's 162 EPA here and 108 DHA. So like, how many tablets do you have?
I this in here like one. I there's 90 in
What
this
the?
container that I
There's
have.
90 in here. How much did that cost you? This thing cost me like I don't know, $16.
Yeah, mine's a little bit more expensive since
Okay.
it's. I can tell you the price. Give me a couple of seconds, but go on with the conversation and just
Yeah.
um.
Well, I didn't. I mean, obviously, what the fish is fed and what it eats ends up being entering your digestive system as well. So it makes sense that, you know, um, farmed salmon and wild salmon would be different.
Yeah,
Actually, I
that.
think in Ecuador, I was reminded just now. My uncle actually has like a fish farm, right? And he just like in the mountains, he's just farming
Mhm.
fish. I always wanted to go back there.
Oh, I always want to go there. It's always nice to go. I want to go to South America.
Maya
That's,
wants me to take her. So like when we go back to New York, we get settled in. Like, dude, you should come with us to Ecuador. That'd be awesome. And
yeah.
it's cheap. Like flights are like $300, $400 if you find the right ticket.
hmm So like you said you found your $16, right?
I think I don't remember the exact price, but it's somewhere.
All right.
I'd say
Let
I'd say it's between 15 to 20.
all right. Let's just say 20.
Okay.
So the one that I go for, it's 45.
Okay.
So, but like you get not it's so that you're also paying for what you're getting as well. So that's another thing too. Like when you get into your finance, you pay what you get. People want to like, oh, I'm kind of tight on money. Yeah, be smart with your money. I understand, but also like if you have the couple bucks to spend it. If it's going to be
Yeah.
better for you, like I've been taking my stuff for about almost 3 months since January. I feel better. I've lost like 15 pounds, and no, like supplements is not a whole. I lost my 15 pounds because of the supplements. No, I just now I start taking care of myself. Been going
Well,
to the
yeah, you
gym.
change your lifestyle.
I changed my whole lifestyle, but like I feel like the supplement didn't give me a jump start. It just fills in the gap what I was missing,
Uh-huh.
and that's what a lot of people get that misconception of like the whole weight loss or oh I'm fat, I want to lose weight. Oh, let me just take this magic pill and I'll lose 20 pounds.
Yeah, no, that's not happening because it's like it's
Or
a lot of the times it's calories in, calories out, or
yeah,
you know.
if you want to lose weight, like if you take in 2,000 calories, if your body can take only 2,000 calories, you want to eat 1,800 if you're not working out.
Yeah.
Also, you have to look at your metabolic rate. If your body can burn, let's just say 2,200, you can eat up to 2,200. If you eat up to 2,200, you're basically maintaining the weight. You're not losing any calories. The calorie deficit means that you're losing because then your body has to go into your fat cells, um, whatever is that's there they be using. But normally it will go to your fat cells because they have more energy in the fat cells.
Right.
Um, but
Maya
then
actually
also,
told me that I lost weight recently, so I was happy to hear that. But I think that's a combination of me having been going to the gym and making sure I'm not taking in more calories
exactly,
than I'm burning. Right.
I feel like 80% of your whole thing is diet.
Oh
If
yeah,
you go 80%
absolutely.
easy, it's like you ever watch that whole Super Size Me thing.
Oh yeah, I remember that documentary. We had to watch that in home ec.
Exactly. That was just. I never actually saw it. I just knew about it. The guy just basically ate McDonald's freaking once, basically every day for every meal. Like,
Yeah, every meal.
no, then you basically put him like shit. And it was cheap. Don't get me wrong, but still, like, oh, occasionally like the McDonald's once in a blue moon, but not freaking
Yeah,
like.
I was hankering for it yesterday, but I was like, nah, I can't do it. Can't do it. And what I ended up doing was I made rice with that pork and pepper and
Mhm.
carrots I was telling you about. But then on top of that, I had a side salad: lettuce, avocado, mini tomatoes. She was fine.
But like that's what I'm saying. Like you had like that whole. So then you had your macros. You did your carbs, your fats, healthy fats, and also your protein with the pork.
Yeah.
So a lot of people go with then you have different kind of diets. That could go in a whole different spectrum with that. Um. Um. But
Think about
yeah,
wrapping this up. You have anything else?
I I don't know. It's, at this point, it's just basically like from what we were like talking about. It's just we can go on tangent. We don't know everything a lot, but we want to just talk about every single thing as much as we can. And we're always looking for people to join in. If they
Hmm.
want to be a guest, by all means, talk about Twitch that wants to get their name out, or different kind of playing styles, how he got into Twitch, or people know in finance, how they got into finance, why they got into finance, kind of like career choices or
Yeah.
legitimate, just little kind of things like
Or
diet.
even just talking about like psychology and like
Mm-hmm.
maybe you might not want to, but talking about um, philosophy. That's something that I'd like to talk about as well. But again, more on the psychology side, right? Helping people understand themselves so that they can, make better life choices and
Well,
and seek their passions, right? And just be able
mhm.
to talk more freely. I feel like because of the culture we have right now, everybody's just kind of like holding themselves back from being who they are and what
Yes,
they really want to talk about.
I could agree with you that, but also you could look at it the other way. People are looking, they have two, they're not abusing the freedom of speech, but they're advocating a lot more. I feel like there's more people coming out and saying who they are, what they are, and whatever, or even like with that, or like what they actually are feeling. Like you go back 10, 9, like yeah, 10 years ago, how many people came out that we know of? Not much. Now people are coming out that
But
whatever,
when you say came out, what do you mean? You mean
like
like out of the closet?
either out of the closet, what their belief is, like
Okay.
politics. It could be
Right.
anything.
Yeah, because a
So
lot of people would just be like, "I'm not talking about politics at work. Like, I just don't do it," or
yeah,
"I'm not talking about politics at family gatherings." Right? And that makes sense. I mean,
like
it's so
people would be
easy to
like
avoid conflict like that.
exactly, and everyone are entitled to their own opinion, and which it totally makes sense. It just but also like going like whatever, kind of backtracking philosophy. I do like philosophy. I wouldn't mind talking about it. I feel like a lot of people have their own philosophy or their own ethics, what they actually like, their own
Core set of
morals.
beliefs, core set of
Yeah,
values. Yeah, yeah.
and that's why I feel like people go into that differently. So, um,
Yeah, but I'm glad you did the whole promotion thing of like saying, "Hey, like anybody who wants to join us, just
yeah.
reach out, talk to us." And by the time this goes up, I'm sure we'll have some sort of social media platform and way for people to contact us. Maybe we'll make like a business email or something like that.
Exactly.
And yeah, so there's a lot of subjects that we're going to cover, and
Mhm.
maybe we can give like a brief overview of what we think we'll be talking about in the next episode. This episode was just kind of us talking about ourselves and random subjects. But next time, well, I mean, we did cover basically what we usually talk about: sports, music, video games, finance, careers. Do you want to talk a little bit longer about like what we're doing right now in terms of our work?
Yeah, if you want to, we could talk about it next episode. Either
Oh, we
way,
can
it's
talk
fine
about it
with
next
me.
episode.
Um, but yeah, like,
Yeah,
um,
let's talk about the next episode, and then right now we can just hop on Destiny real quick.
mhm. Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that's our first episode. What do you
Yeah.
want to call this? What do you want to call this? I was thinking second generation immigrant and a half, or second generation immigrants.
At that point, two immigrants on the border.
Yeah, two immigrants. Well, on the border. I mean, I don't know. It's funny. I've heard like a lot of people considering renouncing their U.S. citizenship and like becoming Japanese citizens. At least the people who I
Mhm.
know here. Um, and yeah, so two immigrants on the border. I don't know. Well, because we're second gen, right? Our parents are immigrants. Or the reason why I said and a half was because my dad is American, right?
Yeah.
He was born here, but
But both of my families are immigrants. I'm technically first gen.
first gen. Okay. I thought it was. Is it?
No, it's so if I have kids, they will be second gen.
Okay, so the reason why I'm second gen is because my dad's an American, right? And his parents are right.
Yes,
Okay. All right. All right. All right.
because technically they are immigrants, and I was the first American in the family, so I'm first generation.
I mean, we could. It's a working title, right? It's a work in progress.
It's working. No one's probably gonna hear our first thing until later on. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll
um,
just insert name here.
yeah,
Okay,
sounds about
cool. And
right.
then like, well, I'll edit it, right, so that the name comes up, and then we'll keep talking, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
All right. So that's it for now.
yeah.
Bye bye.
Stay tuned.